good. Hello, hello, hello. This is volume 4, the Alligator in Alignment. Today I'm here by myself. I'm not going to have a guest today, and my co-host Cowboy Donnie is off doing his stuff. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk about someone who's very, very close to me. We're going to talk about a blues man named Babe Stovall. But before we get into Babe Stovall, let me do my little introduction song. 1962, Houston, Texas. Leave it like that. 1962, Houston, Texas. A lady named Barbara Lynn had a #1 R&B hit with this song here. And many of us still remember it. I'm going to do it for you. Now, Barbara wrote her lyrics, but what I always do is I always insert something in. So I got some of my lyrics I insert in. I'm going to say I say when I do my lyrics because I don't want to insult Barbara by confusing you to think that those are her lyrics. Here we go. You know I love you. I'll do anything for you. Just don't mistreat me, and I'll be good to you. And I say, you know I love you, but you treat me so mean. You took away all my steaks, got me eating pinto beans. But if you lose me, oh yeah, you lose a good thing. Oh yeah, I said if you lose me, oh yeah, you lose a good thing. And Barbara says, my last time telling you, I want you to change your ways, I think. Or I'm gonna walk out that door one of these days, and here I go. I come home, darling, underneath my bed I see city slicker shoes. I don't mean to be suspicious, but I don't wear a damn thing but cowboy boots. If you lose me, oh yeah, you lose a good thing. Oh yeah, if you don't believe me, you know what you can do? Try me, baby, you lose a good thing. One more time, if you lose me, you lose a good thing. Barbara says, my last time telling you, I'm not telling you anymore. Keep mistreating me, I'm gonna walk right out that door. And I say, you know I love you, baby, but don't you know it really hurts when you come home late Friday night smelling the whiskey and say I just got back home from church. If you lose me, oh yeah, you lose a good thing. If you lose me, you lose a good thing. Alligator style. Here we go. Um, Let me tell you about. I came stumbling back into New Orleans around 1970, and a fixture in New Orleans at that time was one of the Stovall brothers from out of Mississippi. The Stovall brothers were famous at one time in certain areas of Mississippi because they were not only good bluesmen, but they were hell raisers. Babe was the youngest of 11 children. That's the reason they call him Babe. Him and his brother played blues mandolin. His brother would accompany him. And at one point, they drank so much liquor, they were rough characters. And some parts of the Mississippi area, they said that if the Stovall brothers showed up and they even looked like they were in a bad mood, those who couldn't make it to the door just jumped out the windows because nobody wanted to be in the joint. But anyway, when I ran into Babe, he was an elderly gentleman. I remember when I first met him, I guess he had been there's no way to sugarcoat this. He was a wino. And when I looked at him and he told me his age, I thought he was at least 20 years old when I looked at him. I have to be honest about that. The alcohol, the rough life of a blues man, and I'm sure he did hard work on the farms like I did when he was coming up, had taken his toll on him. He had this thing that he said, he drinks wine all the time, he says, because my mother, he said, I don't think I ever saw my mother sober a day in her life. He said, every day she drank. And she lived to be 100 years old. He said, so I figure if the Lord could make water out of wine, he said, I should just drink wine. As long as I take care of myself, I think I'm going to be all right. But he didn't really take care of himself. But Babe was a absolute marvel to watch, because he was white-haired, white-haired old man, and he walked very stiff, and his prized possession was his 1941 National steel guitar. That was his absolute treasure, and he carried it in this case, and he would walk into Jackson Square. If you've ever been in New Orleans, you know that's where the tourists congregate. And he would find him a bench, and he would sit the guitar down on the bench. And I watched him do this hundreds of times, and I was always fascinated by this. His movements were very old and stiff when but once he set that guitar down and he flipped those things to open up the case. When Babe Stovall opened the case of his guitar, I wrote about this in the Gator News about 30 years ago. He put his hand on that National steel guitar, and the moment his fingers hit that guitar, it was like magic. All of a sudden, Babe Stovall was young again. His movements were young. It was the most amazing transformation. And like I say, I watched it hundreds of times, because I hung around him a lot. And he would play, and his fingers were nimble. He would play behind his head. He would get out and dance, and he could just shout like nobody's business. And at the end of his performance, and he drank during the whole performance, because the young musicians who hang around with him, they absolutely adored Babe, and they would always supply him with drinks, wine preferably, and then the tourist money would help him. But the minute he put that guitar back in his case, and his hand left the guitar, he was old again. It was just the most amazing thing. He was old again. He would shut the case, and he would grab his guitar and sort of shuffle off, I was living in Hawaii, and someone called me. I think it was 74, maybe. And they said, Alligator, guess what? And I hadn't gotten any calls from New Orleans the whole time I had been over there, for a couple of years, a few years. And they said, someone stole Babe's national steel guitar. And when I heard that, shivers went up my spine. I mean, I was just, it was like, how could that be possible? So my immediate reaction was very strong because I loved the man. And I said, who stole the guitar? Does anybody know who has it? Is there anybody know anything about it? Because I'll get on the plane and come back and we'll try to get it back. And he says, no, you don't have to worry about that, because the whole city is upset about that. The whole city of New Orleans is upset about it. And Babe is just heartbroken. And that was when I told this gentleman over the phone, I said, I'm going to have to round up some of these things that I have to do and try to get me a plane ticket to get back to New Orleans. I said, because if Babe's guitar has been stolen, Babe is not going to live very long. So somebody has to find it, because there's no way. And certainly, just as I said, some months later, I got another call saying that Babe Stovall had passed away. I'd like to, I think the 74 or 75 New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival was dedicated to Babe Stovall. And I'm getting some feedback here. I got a little clip of the very last performance that Babe Stovall did in Jackson Square in New Orleans. Up the volume. Like you just listen to this authentic up. This is the old Delta Blues. This is live, sitting in Jackson Square.
My woman packed a suitcase. She started to the train. She's a married woman. Love her just the same.
Now, Babe made some recordings. Go onto YouTube, and there's several recordings he made, and he also made a special record for the Preservation Hall in New Orleans, if you know about Preservation Hall. I can't say enough about Babe Stovall. I just wanted to devote this program to him, because these old Delta bluesmen, there will never be others like them, that whole lifestyle that Babe lived and that I lived, and many people from back then, is all lost now. I grew up on muse in the fields, no electricity, no running water, no indoor toilets. In fact, I'm going to tell a story one of my shows about the first time I was taken into civilization. The first time I saw electricity and running water and all that stuff. What a fascinating thing that was for me. I think I was about 8 years old at that time. But anyway, Babe Stovall, I really miss Babe. I just wanted to dedicate this program to Babe Stovall. At the end of my show, I'm going to play one of his last recordings, which has a line in it that just makes me want to cry almost. But right now, let's do a little bit of Johnny Cash. I hope there's some Johnny Cash lovers out there. We're going to do a little bit of Johnny Cash. And what I want you... Here we go. Let's see if we can do this. Johnny Cash Alligator style. Let's see. Turn it up. Up. The take love is a burning thing. It makes a fiery ring. Bound by wild desire, I fell in a ring of fire. Bound by wild desire, I fell in a ring of fire. I fell in a burning ring of fire. Down, 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 the flames were burning high. It burns, burns, burns. Hey! The ring of fire, the ring of fire. Burns, burns, burns. The ring of fire, the ring of fire. One more time. The taste of love is sweet when hearts like ours meet. I fell for you like a child. Oh, but the fire went wild. I fell for you, a little girl, like a child. Oh, but the fire went wild. I fell in. Yes, I did. I fell in a burning ring of fire. Down, 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 the flames were burning high. It burns, burns, burns. Hey! The ring of fire, y'all excuse me. The ring of fire. Burns, burns, burns. The ring of fire. The ring of fire. Johnny Cash Alligator style. Now, right now, we're going to do I'm going to let you know what's going to be coming up in the future. I'm bringing a guest on my next podcast. I'm getting into golf. I'm doing an interview with a close friend of mine who I'm doing some golf work with. He's helping me out. This is my second incursion into golf. I did it about 30 years back and hadn't been doing it up until recently with the friend I'm bringing in. But it's going to be a wonderful interview, and hopefully we'll get some of you interested in checking the game out. If you're like me, we always had jokes about golf. You know, golf. Why do you have to hit this thing with a stick to get the ball into the hole? Just pick the damn ball up and put it in the hole and go home. Okay, but trust me, it's a really fun game, and we're gonna touch on that. Me and my co-host, my son Cowboy Donnie, we're going to be doing a segment on the American flag. Okay, and I think you're going to enjoy it because we're going to do what we do. But right now I'm gonna let this go. So, but before I go, I'm gonna do one other little thing for you. A little bit of Tex-Mex music. I had a good friend of mine named Freddie Fender. Well, that was his stage name anyway. This is sort of an Alligator version. But this style of music is called Tex-Mex. We're going to do it Alligator style. Let it go, darling. Tex-Mex shares with Zydeco the bit of that oompa is in it. The German immigrants introduced the accordion to the Americans in the 1840s or something like that. Here we go. Alligator got to go now. Hey, baby, K-Pasa, slow. Lord knows I got to go. I'll see everybody next time. I'm putting out another one in 1 week. Hey, yeah. Hey, baby, K-Pasa. Alligator got to go. Happy trail.